Welcome back to the Ride and Laugh podcast. If you love mountain biking, you are in the right place. Picture your last really fun group ride. You're back at the parking lot. Everyone's talking about the ride, bikes, tech, nutrition, jumps, drops, berms. That's what we do here every week on the Ride and Laugh podcast. Hey, you love bikes? We love bikes. Let's drop in. Sage, how are you today?
Dude, I feel like, what's that fairy tale when they talk about like something so much and then it loses its I think it's the wolf and he tells so many tales and they stop believing him or something like that. I actually have a weather problem, but we've been talking about the weather every single beginning of the pod that listeners are going to be tuning out already. But we had a serious storm.
Oh, yeah. More weather talk. This is the way we start every podcast. You know, I listen to this content about like making, you know, a show that's got like a great hook and they're always like, come out strong. Like your first 5 minutes is the most important thing. We got new listeners.
Drop the ball.
Yeah. And new listeners coming in and it's like, how's the weather? I thought it was a mountain bike podcast. We doing the weather again?
Unbelievable.
But
yes.
You had major calamity again.
Yes.
And it almost cost us a week or two of podcasts.
I know, man. It was crazy. I was actually on a ride with Brian in North Jersey. I'm driving back home. And as I'm driving back home, I cross over the bridge, the Benny, and all of a sudden, like trees just down everywhere. And I was like, what the heck happened here? It was like a mini tornado had pulled through like the Philadelphia area. But I went to Phoenixville, nothing. So it was just literally, that's so funny.
Localized.
It was very localized, but it was horrendous. Just it knocked a tree down in our backyard. Oh boy, it was a nightmare, Danny.
Look, you're a signs guy, right? When you're riding on the trail, you're a signs guy, right?
Yeah.
You know where we don't have any trees causing any problems?
Yes.
The desert. You might get a swallow fall over every once in a while, but
ouch. Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about a group of mountain bikers, and we've kind of settled on a steez.
Yeah.
As the Ride and Laugh listeners, a steez of mountain bikers. You had the steez jersey idea, and you're not sure if it's going to say steez on the back. I just wonder if like that's too flashy for some of our listeners. I don't know that I would want it. I don't know that I'm confident enough to wear a jersey that says steezy, you know, like implies that I'm steezy on the back, and then go ride like a, you know, like a stiff, lanky.
Yeah.
I'll finish the sentence for me. You know, we know what I'm saying. Giraffe, like a baby giraffe. So someone in the comments said something about it being a baby giraffe. I was like, oh, I relate to that.
Oh boy.
Well, last week we talked. I kind of start this bit with like, hey, here's another group of animals. Last week we did a bat is a cauldron, right?
Yeah.
And then I went into you think we should call full suspension and hardtail riders, and I noticed that it didn't survive the cutting room floor. I noticed
something's got to go. You know, something's got to go.
Well, if this segment makes the podcast, Ride and Laugh one at Gmail and YouTube comments.
Yeah,
I had some ideas for full suspension riders, which, granted, they were not that good. They were not that good.
Yeah, that's probably why it went.
Yeah, they weren't that good. I mean, it wasn't my best. It wasn't my best work.
Oh, okay, so we're going to do it again.
What about a group? Yeah. No, I want to see what other people have. Maybe they have something I didn't have. Okay. So I'm just curious. I'm not going to put mine out there. Let's just see what other people have.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Now, do we want to do a group of single speeders or a group of mountain bikers? Because I thought those could also be fun.
I don't think we have enough.
Are you done with this bit?
Yeah. I don't think we have enough single speeders. We definitely have enough mountain bikers and hardtail and full squish.
You're saying there's no group of single speeders, like seeing a group of single speeders out in the wild. Like it used to be, you would see groups of single speeders.
Maybe.
Now, if you see a single speeder, you're like, oh, there's one. But like very rarely do you see a group of single speeders anymore to say there's a cog of single speeders.
Oh, look at you. Look at you.
I worked it in. I had to go. I like it. I have one answer under single speeders, and it's cog.
It was cog. It was very good. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, e-bikers.
ECOG. Yeah, I hear you.
What about a watt? A watt of EMTBers?
Oh, dude, you are on a roll. That's really good.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
maybe this will make the podcast.
yeah, okay. Give me hardtail and full squish then. You're on a roll here.
No. You already edited those out. You edited those out. I don't have new ones from last week.
Okay, so
let's see what the listeners say.
Gotcha. Yes. Okay, so hardtail and full squish. Gotcha.
Yeah, because full squish I also kind of think is still just a steez. But if we wanted to do a full squish, like, you could probably come up with some ideas. But I think that's all, like most mountain bikers are on full suspension nowadays. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe statement.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, it was probably like 70%, a full suspension. Yeah. And then, within that full suspension, e-bikes, right? So e-bikes is making 50% of that 70%. Wow, that's going to get mathematically very confusing. So 35 and 35.
Yeah, well, that's true. Like almost all e-bikes are full suspension. So anyone getting an e-bike is getting full suspension. So that's kind of like changing that scenario, I guess. But if you're starting with an e-bike, you're really starting a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty badass to start. Can I say badass?
Yeah, you could say ass.
Oh, okay.
I think. Right? Oh. That's a donkey.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I've been saying bull taint, so I didn't know if I needed to say that's pretty bad taint. That doesn't
bad
sound very good. That's bad taint.
Is
there any good taint? There's no good taint. There's no such thing as a good taint.
Waiter, I got some bad taint.
I don't think this taint was properly cleaned before you brought it out to me.
Ew. Ew, God.
You're the one ordering taint at a restaurant.
Oh, boy. Jeez,
all of a sudden, I'm ew. Sheesh. We did have a taint gumbo.
Yeah, we did.
I believe there was a taint gumbo in some previous episodes. Yeah. If you don't know the taint bit, you got to go back. Season 1? There's a whole food truck. Yeah. We got a whole food truck. The taint.
I tell you, if we didn't lose everybody by the weather, we definitely lost them by this bit. Bring them home. Bring them back.
They're back in. They're back in.
Okay.
They're back in.
All right.
Oh yeah. They're like, okay, here's some unique mountain bike talk.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's get some chamois cream going. A little garlic aioli chamois cream. We can harken back to the Nathan Ride Reactive Chef Nathan episodes. Yeah. Those were great bits, man.
Yeah.
We have had some really funny over the years. Over the years. That's crazy. We've been doing this for a couple of years.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Well, we have been posting a lot on Instagram.
Yeah.
So if you're not following the Ride and Laugh Instagram, and we're also on Facebook, and we get some really cool feedback on there. And on Facebook, a posting that we had recently about breaking down a feature and really getting specific about the feature.
Ooh, okay.
And we had Dane, who is like the OG, like one of just the great riders of Southeast Pennsylvania. He's been riding like free ride at Mount Penn forever. We've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
And so Dane talking about a new feature, he wrote, I'll know fairly quickly if a new feature is doable for me and don't fuss over analyzing and just go for it. Many times riding behind a rider you trust on unknown trails or features. I'll follow blindly over a tech feature or on a jump line as well. There's a feeling of euphoria when doing it blindly and letting your experience take over and pin perfectly.
Huh. That's interesting. So is the feeling, what's the feeling is what?
He's not thinking. I would say in that case, the feeling is trusting the skills, trusting the speed, and the rider in front of you, whether they're telling you something on the trail or you're just following them through something. When you're hitting something for the first time and you just hit it and you've got it there, I feel like there is like a little extra flow boost there. Stopping and looking at something definitely takes out the flow.
Oh yeah, 100%. So are you saying that you do as much thinking when you're following somebody as when you're by yourself? Like it's still the same amount of thinking?
Okay, less thinking.
Right.
Less thinking. Yeah. I just followed Mike. We were at Phoenix Mountain Preserve. They're intermediate level trails. There's nothing like crazy there, but they're near his house and it's new trails. I was just following him on all the local lines. There was a drop that, he was like, oh, there's a drop down here, but it's no big deal. And it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun. It definitely added to the spiciness of like, oh yeah, there's a line, and that's cool. I got it, and there's a steep roll down right here. Didn't look at it, just went. That was fun.
I wonder if you could take that and apply that to when you're not following somebody, take that same,
Yeah.
right. The difference is, I actually end up thinking just as much, when I'm following somebody, but it's of
just as little for you.
When just as little, yeah, maybe you're right, but I think about different things, like if I'm following somebody, I'm sure everyone can relate to this. You're tracking their back tire, so that's the obvious one, right? You're looking at their back tire to find a line. If they're slipping, did they go off something, But then the second thing that I'm doing is I'm actually looking around them, because I happen to be
that's next level.
Well, I wish I could say it was for good reasons, but I'm actually a really fussy rider, and I don't always trust the person that I'm following. And so I'm always looking for lines. So I often find myself looking around the person to see if there's kickers or something that,
yeah. You don't really like following people either. So I could see how that would, like, because you prefer to pick your own line, you like to get your eyes up and look around. But what that's forcing you to do is get your eyes up. So if you're following someone down a new trail,
yeah, right,
that's forcing you to get your eyes up. And that's like 101. I mean, that's 90% of mountain biking. Is the number one tip is get your eyes up.
Yeah. And I have to say, I've kind of changed my tune on the following. I really enjoy following people on a downhill for the most part, especially if there are jumps in it. But even like technical downhills, I've been really appreciating that, and picking up, because I've realized as I've gotten older and I've focused less on my downhill, as a result, my downhill has gotten slower. And I don't know, like other things have gotten better, but the downhill has definitely suffered.
What do you mean?
Maybe, and you tell me.
Speed.
The speed.
I feel like, speed.
Yeah, dude, I feel like when we first started riding, I was pretty fast on the downhill, and we were on like really crappy bikes, and I was still
you were
pretty fast. Yeah. And recently
you were fast compared to the rest of us, though.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I just feel like I definitely don't have that urge to go fast anymore. Like, especially if I'm by myself or if I'm riding with people that I know.
Yeah.
I don't have that urge, bro. It's gone. It's not that I'm scared. I don't know. I don't have a need for speed.
Well, that's interesting because you used to just want to go as fast as possible. I remember those days, and you definitely prided yourself on being fast. When I ride behind you, you're so smooth that you're fast.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
And I know that you're not pushing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I ride behind you, you're usually oftentimes pulling away because you're just so smooth. You have your eyes up. You have that, and right, smooth is fast. What's the line?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, smooth is fast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Something like that.
Yeah.
RideLife1 at Gmail. I know I butchered that. I know.
No, I think it was pretty close. Yeah, there was something along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah. But having said all that, you were right. Typically, I do not like to follow people. When I was riding with Brian, again, to go back to what I was saying before, in North Jersey, and I don't know this trail. I have to follow Brian, but Brian and I ride completely different styles, completely different speeds, completely different fitness. And it was hard for me to just be like, yo, settle down and just lock in on following instead of just like wanting to just jump ahead and do my own thing, because he's a very trialsy rider. Like Brian, if you watch Brian ride, like he is unbelievable. He's hopping and doing all this stuff. I don't have any of that. I don't have any of those skills. I do slow speed tech with speed, which is kind of weird to say, but like I like to tackle gardens and stuff like that with speed. And Brian likes to pick his way through that. And because he likes to pick his way through it, I either have to open up space or I have to get really creative, man. It was really tricky. It was interesting.
That makes sense because Brian has that trials background.
Right.
So he knows that when he starts going into tech and he starts getting through lines, he knows that if he gets stopped, he can track stand and then bounce to another line.
Yeah, I got that.
Like he has that in his bag. Yeah. So whereas you and I, like we got to keep our momentum going, right? If we get stopped, we're putting a foot
We're
down.
done.
You know,
Yeah.
we could track stand for a little bit, but you know, we're certainly not hopping to another line.
I know.
So yeah, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. And yeah, riding behind someone like that on tech trails. So you and I, because we ride that same style, like I always like following you, and I think you're fine
Vice
following me
versa.
on
Yes.
tech, because yeah, like we want to keep them rolling. We want to keep it moving. And so yeah, that's really interesting. Did you guys stop and look at every feature, or were you rolling through some things? Did he follow you? Were you following him? How did that go? And it looked like you guys were on a pretty gnarly trail from a little bit of the video I saw.
Yeah, North Jersey has got some spice, bro. I mean, we got Ringwood, we got jungle habitat, you know, that whole mountain
People
creek.
that don't know, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know.
If you're in a different part of the country, which a lot of our listeners are, or a different part of the world,
yeah,
I think New Jersey has a reputation, and people think of like kind of the Jersey Shore,
right,
or you know, maybe New York, North Jersey, New York City, Newark, you know. Yeah, but it's called the Garden State, and there is a big part of New Jersey that's absolutely beautiful and really mountainous and really rocky. It's got some great mountain biking. North Jersey definitely brings it. So yeah, I was excited to hear that you guys found a cool trail there.
Yeah, it's called Tiger Blood. I mean, enough said. Right there, right then and there. Whoa. Yeah, if it's called Tiger Blood, come on,
man.
Yeah,
that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah. So yeah, we went up there with the intention of just taking apart this trail. Brian said, "Look, there's this one trail, and it's got a ton of features." And I said, "What if we did a video where we talked about not just the mindset, but also the approach to each one of these?" So that's basically what we did. We went on this trail. We stopped at every single thing and talked about how he would do it and how I would do it. And man, I learned a ton, man. He's a, you know, he coaches with the Mountain Bike Academy, the Trail Boss Academy.
The Trail Boss Academy.
Not Dave Davidson. The Trail Boss. Yeah. Dave's like, what?
Yeah, Trail Boss Academy, which is Jeff Lanoski's coaching at Mountain Creek. Yes.
Yeah. So I learned a ton, man. That dude is something else.
So was he showing you things that were not trials related, or are you like starting to learn a little bit of trials kind of moves?
No.
You have some trials moves.
A little bit. You know, I got a couple things. Yeah, a couple things. I dabble. I dabble. Yeah. No, we rode the trail like the main trail. We didn't do anything that would require any trials. And I think we did a pretty good job of showing that in the video of like how he would do it. And he might have a different technique, right, than the way that I'm doing it. And we showed each one of us doing it. So it ended up being really, we got like rain. And if you know anything about those rocks, man, when they get wet, dude, holy moly, they got moss. We got the moss down here, and the rocks just, even though they're tons of grip when it's dry, man, when they get wet, it just changes the whole ride. And that was also really interesting because we talked about like how we change our riding when things get wet.
I can't wait to see this video. I'm assuming it'll be on Trail Sage, and we'll let everyone know when it's out as well, because it sounds really cool. I know you need to edit it and put it together, and you're a busy guy. It should be out tomorrow, I presume. Right?
We got the Dells first, buddy.
I want to see it.
We got the Dells.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Still lots more to come out on Trail Sage. If you're not already watching Sage's channel on mountain biking, check out Trail Sage on YouTube.
Yes,
a lot of great content, a lot of great riding, a lot of obviously Sage and Danny and some of our other riding friends. So yeah, it's good. Going back to the flow versus stopping and sessioning, did you find it challenging at all to ride a very highly technical trail, stopping so much, mindset wise? Were you able to lock in? And
no, not mindset wise, but definitely the muscles. I mean, dude, that really hurts your muscles. You're talking about a 3-mile trail with 200 feet. That should be nothing, right? That's a
yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. But for you and I, who take our fitness pretty seriously, we're hitting the trainer, I'm hitting the road bike. 3 miles and 200 feet is nothing, And so I was thinking, oh, this is going to be no problem. I found my heart rate like skyrocketing because we would stop and then we'd go hard and then we'd stop and then we'd go hard. It's a hard way to ride.
So physically, it wore you out a little bit. Do you think you could just flow through that trail now? Could you just ride that trail?
Oh, you know my trail memory, man. I was saying to Brian, I was like, dude, we could come back and we just wax this whole thing. No dabs, just like, yeah, dude, let's get a PR. Yeah.
All right. Awesome stuff. Ride Laugh One at Gmail and YouTube comments. The difference between following someone on a new trail and flowing through it and just trusting versus stopping and sessioning and looking at something. I just feel like a lot of times I stop and I look at something and it gets harder. I build it up, and I think, and then when you actually ride it, you're like, oh, that went better than I thought. But sometimes we even skip it because you stop and you look at it and it's just like, well, what about that little crack down there? Or, how's that is your wheel going to get caught there? And then when you actually ride it, you just kind of roll over a lot of that stuff, or you instinctively like kind of pull up and you hit the downward drop. It's not that big a deal. Downward drops are we talked about this like a year ago. It was such a bugaboo, the downward facing drop. And now like I do them, there's one on Boulder Dash and there's the one in Gold Canyon. Like I do it, fairly regularly. And I just know that my body will respond.
Yeah, dude. No, you can, and let's be honest, you got skills at the wazoo. Going back to what you were saying about getting, when you stop and look at something and it grows in your head. And that is something. Yes, that is something I can relate to.
People can relate to that.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I think people think like, oh, you're an instinct guy or whatever, you're a feel guy. But no, that does happen to me. And how I get over that is I'm also a signs guy. And I go back to what was my first impression. When I first saw the feature for the very first time, what was my reaction? Did I say, oh yeah, I got this? And then I harken back to that thought, So no matter how much I build it up, be like, wait, Sage, you told yourself this is doable. So forget all the other stuff. Yeah. So I'll just return back to what that first thought was. And I trust that first thought.
Freaking great tip. That is a great tip. Ride Laugh One at Gmail, YouTube comments and first impressions. And actually, if we go back to Dane's comment, he says, I'll know fairly quickly if a new feature is doable for me and don't fuss over analyzing and just go for it.
Boom, right there.
First impression.
Right there.
I got it.
Yeah.
And then he's saying, don't fuss, just do it. So sometimes the longer you look at it, that our analyzing brain, our overthinking starts taking over, right? We're out of flow state. We're into thinking state.
Yeah.
Right. When you see it, you get a feel for it. I got this. And when we move to thinking, then it starts to change. And we don't really want to be riding in that thinking state. We want to be riding in that feeling state.
Another tough one is when you're with a group, because the group can actually add to that reflection time.
Yeah.
And no one wants to bring negative energy, but it happens, right? You're a great example, Danny. When we went to that South Mountain and we did the backside of the waterfall, right? It was me, you, Joe, and Jeff. I think it was just the four of us.
You did the backside of the waterfall.
Well, thank you.
In a way.
But you had that.
Thank you for grouping us in there. That time that you guys watched me do that really cool thing. Do you remember that, Dan? You remember that time? You guys watched me do something really awesome.
You have that.
Then you guys all continued
you have that feature. Right. When you want it, you have it. But it's two pieces. And I remember my first impression looking at that first being like, no problem. But then that first piece, man, that looked really crazy.
It's fine.
Right. So I was studying that. But as I was studying that, you guys were all talking about that second half. And all of a sudden, like that second half started building in my head. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, do I want to do this? I actually had to physically go down and look at it from the bottom. This is another tip, by the way. Don't just look at something from the top. If you have the ability to look at this from different angles, when I looked at it from the top, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so steep. I went to the bottom and I looked up at it and I looked at it from the side and I was like, no, this is doable and it's not that bad. And so I took the top view out of my range of thinking and went back through it. But my point was, the group added to that. It added to my anxiety, my nervousness, because they were bringing up things that I wasn't worried about until they brought it up. And I was like, oh, wait, do I need to worry about that?
Yeah. That makes a ton of sense. And that can go either way, right?
Yeah.
If the group's like, we got this.
Right.
Oh, this seems, and then you watch 2 or 3 people do it. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And still listen to your instincts. Don't let someone else's confidence override your skill level. If your initial reaction was, I don't know,
yeah,
you still have to listen to that, and then you get a FOMO, right? Everyone's doing it and you don't want to have like a fear of missing out. So, it's like, get into like doing it for the right reasons. Like there's some real like kind of mountain bike, intuition in there. And we've talked about both of these a lot, and you're talking about the other direction where it's like, hey, I don't like the way this looks. Oh, and we're all talking why we're not doing it. I don't like the way that crack looks, and I don't like the approach, and I'm out on this today.
Right.
And suddenly, wait a second, am I thinking about this the right way?
Yeah.
Evan was talking about it. Remember, Evan at Venture MTB talked about his ride at Glen Park.
Great callback. Yes.
When he saw a jump that he thought was in his wheelhouse, and the guys he's riding with, who he respects and thinks are great riders, said no. Right. So he was like, okay, I guess I won't do it then. And then he circled back and he did do it because his first impression.
Yes.
And then his second impression when he saw it again was yes.
Yeah. And he did it. And well.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen to those first impressions. That's right. Really cool. Like if you're in a flow state and you get to something and you see it and it feels right, listen to that.
Right.
Listen to that. That's a pretty good cue.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have time to get into another topic that I've been wanting to talk about. And I ride with Rob Drew every once in a while.
Yes. Love Rob.
Rob, if you're not in the Phoenix area, well, first follow him on Instagram. He's got a fantastic Instagram. His riding's amazing. He's an OG of South Mountain. He's unbelievable good rider. And whenever I ride with him, I just get so many good gems, just mountain bike tips and advice, that he kind of like says casually, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have so many of these that I've written down. Every time I ride with him, I feel like I write down more. This is like mountain bike advice from the Rob Father. That's what
Ooh, the Rob Father
this segment.
Ooh.
Yeah, isn't that good?
Yeah, that's good.
So we talked about you not climbing in granny gear. And then I started riding with Rob, and I noticed Rob is pushing a big gear when he climbs. Yeah, pretty big gear.
Okay.
So of course I have to ask him about it. And Rob's he starts telling me that it's not really about the power with the 29 wheels, that he realized when the bikes went with bigger wheels, it was more about the momentum of the 29er wheels. It takes longer to get them up to speed, but once you get them up to speed, keep that speed. So he's pushing a bigger gear, and he also says that way the climb's done sooner. So you're faster and the climb's done sooner.
Okay.
Makes sense. And the guy climbs like a billy goat, right? So I notice when I start pushing a bigger gear, I have more traction.
Yeah.
For the technical climbing, if I'm in granny gear, I don't have as much traction as if I'm pushing second or third gear. It's just, you get more torque, you get more tension, especially for the technical climbing. If you're doing a switchback or something like that, like you want that power stroke. You want to be able to get around that corner. Now, I had always heard to kind of like finish out the counterpoint was that I had always heard on Trainer Road, when I'm riding the trainer, they always talk about cadence is king. And that when you're going higher cadence, you're moving your fatigue from your legs to your heart. And your heart doesn't really wear out when you're riding, but your legs do get tired. And the analogy that they say is going upstairs or a hill. If you're going upstairs and you're going with quick legs on every step, versus going upstairs and you're skipping steps,
I totally
2 or 3
do that.
steps.
Yes.
Don't your legs light up more when you skip the steps? Yet you seem to get to the top at the same time.
I don't
is
know.
Is it a road thing? Because
I think it's a road
is this
thing.
an XC or a road thing?
I was about to say.
Technical climbing.
I was about to say nothing against Trainer Road, and honestly I don't listen to that podcast. Or is it a podcast or is it a show?
It's a podcast, but it's also when I'm doing the workouts, the Trainer Road workouts, and they have mountain bike programs in there. Anyone that doesn't know, Trainer Road is for your indoor trainer, or you can also do outdoor training on it. But they have mountain bike programs on it. It's called Trainer Road, which is kind of ironic that I use that since I'm such an anti-roadite. But they talk of they talk about mountain biking, but as you're doing the workouts, sometimes there's instructions.
Right.
And sometimes it'll just be giving you information. And so it'll talk about that, like how the cadence, they do recommend that you climb at the cadence that you climb. You should train at the cadence that you ride at.
All right.
But
Here's
anyways,
let me say this. Let me say
the
this.
long-winded way to say it. You got to edit that down.
I don't prescribe to trainer roads. So I can't say this definitively, but it sounds like a lot of that advice is focused more around road biking, gravel biking, XC mountain biking. Maybe not so much the kind of riding that we're doing, which is
they're very race oriented.
Yes. And this is the second thing that I would preface is that I don't think that most people, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that most people are dealing with a South Mountain, quote unquote, type of technical climbing. That's a pretty rare type of climb.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And so I think that the advice that Trainer Road is giving could work for most people. You know, a high cadence definitely works. When you start doing a high cadence on a very technical climb, I'm talking about maybe it's a logover with step ups or big rocks like on the South Mountain. When you start doing a higher cadence, you are introducing more pedal strikes. That's the other bad thing. You know, if you have a bigger gear, you can ratchet, you know, you can time your stroke a lot better. So, you know, listen, I'm excited to know that Rob also pushes a big gear and that I'm not crazy. Because for a while I was thinking, am I crazy for pushing the big gear on these climbs? But yeah, I'm starting to see. All right, Rob's doing it. I must be redeemed. I'm in good company.
Redeemed. Yeah,
totally redeemed.
No, absolutely. I was riding with Mike Shen this morning, and there were some good technical climbs at this place that I wouldn't mind going back and having another go at because I think I can clean some of those. But I noticed he was in second gear. He never went down to granny. And so, you know, I'm looking at these things when I'm riding with people. I'm looking at what gear they're in. Yeah.
Call me.
And so we had the conversation about you just get more traction that way. You know, it's I almost said, but I caught myself.
Yes. Mike Shen is my doppelganger. So I love it. Did I use that correctly?
Oh, you're climbing doppelganger? I don't know. I gotta ride with him at South Mountain to see. Well, you're not all that great of a South Mountain isn't your you're not great at climbing the South Mountain.
Yeah.
It's not really for all your strengths and all the features that you get at that mountain. The technical climbing there, it really is special. And to be able to practice those lifts and the constant ledges that you're climbing up. It's a unique place. And it's a really good point that not that many people are doing that level of technical climbing. I'm very curious from our listeners, RideLife1 at Gmail and YouTube comments, what cadence are you spinning? Which gear are you using?
Yeah.
We always get a lot of like technical climbing. Who wants to do that? Right. We get some of those comments also.
Yeah. I found myself, it's funny that you said lifts because technical climbing is actually, I don't struggle with that on South Mountain. I do struggle mightily with lifts. Anytime there's a lift in the climb, that's where I struggle, or even on a flat section. Ever since I got that,
that's true.
Yeah, ever since I got that Stumpy, it definitely changed because the geo is so different on that Stumpy, and it is a bigger front wheel. No excuses. I was on this ride with Brian, and there are several lifts, and I found myself saying out loud, "I'm not really good with lifts," and I caught myself. I was like, "Wait, what are you doing? You're prefacing this move with "I can't do it" or "I'm not good at it" before I even did it." And Brian and I chuckled about it, but like I changed that.
It's so cool that you caught it. It's so cool that you noticed that you're bringing awareness to your thoughts. And we talk about this on the bike and we talk about this in life. What are you thinking about? What are you setting your expectations for? What kind of reality are you creating for yourself? I'm the kind of person that's not good at this, or I'm the kind of person that's good at this, or I'm open to getting better at this. And in life also, go with the flow. No, just bring that level of awareness. What am I thinking about? Sometimes when I'm on autopilot, what am I thinking about? Love it. Okay.
Do you want to know how I did the lift?
Yes. So what happened?
I stopped looking at it as a lift. It was that simple. You and I are very good at logovers. That's something that we had to learn because of a place called Belmont here in Philadelphia, where we had a moto problem back in the day. And so in order to keep the moto people out of the park, when a tree fell, they would just leave it. And that made for this
Is that
place.
why?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's why.
I didn't know that's why that was like that.
Yes. So that's why when you went to Belmont, and most people hate Belmont because it is just full of logs back in the day. It's not like that anymore. But you and I got so good at I mean, we're talking like as big as your front wheel, no problem on the Logover. I looked at those lifts that Brian was showing me, and I said, why don't you just envision this as a log? Like there's another side to this. It's not flat at the top.
I love it.
As soon as I did that, no problem. So I changed the mindset. That was one. And then I changed the technique. I related it to something else. You know, this is the move.
Yes.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I can do this. I've done this before. Can I do this? Yes, I can. And that's another thing when we come onto a feature that we don't know. Bingo. What have I done that looks like this before? Right. I've done this, so I can do that. You know, a lot of times we go on mountain bike vacation and then you come back to your local trails and you go, oh, I just rode all that stuff.
Yeah.
I can definitely ride this. Now I got some of these local trails. I can ride different lines. I can ride faster. I could ride that line that I wasn't doing before.
Yeah.
So just bringing that confidence of I've done that. I can do that. So I can do that. Same thing in life, right? I got through all this. Everything always worked out for me on this thing and this thing and this thing. So whatever's coming up next, it's good. Let's just keep going with the assumption that everything's going to work out for us because it is. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I love that. The Logover, I tell you what, dude, Logovers, I think are harder than lifts.
Really?
Right? I mean, you got to land the Logover. On the lift, you're flat. It's like a step up versus a jump.
Boy, I don't know.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't know if that's I'd love to hear people's feedback on that. Do they find a lift easier than a Logover? You know, that's really interesting. I find it the opposite. I struggle mightily with lifts, and I have no problem at all with a Logover. So,
but I think part of the reason I'm good at lifts out here is because I was good at Logovers. Like I am good at pedaling into a feature, getting my wheel up and unweighting the front and then the back wheel. That's a lift.
Yeah.
Except with the Logover, you have to complete the motion and then go off of the log. So you're doing the up and the down. Whereas on a lift, you're just getting up on top of it. Now, some of the lifts are much bigger. Like we're not, you know, doing Logovers on redwood trees or something like that. Whereas some of these lifts are huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lift could be 3, 4, 5 feet. I'm not doing anything like that. Rob is effortlessly just bouncing up all these ledges on South Mountain. It's really incredible to see. And he can do it slow or fast. He's got different techniques for it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
But Ride and Life wanted at Gmail and YouTube comments, who's riding Logovers? How are you at them? And how do they compare to lifts? Are you riding lifts? You know, like you don't have to be doing technical climbing to do Logovers. Like if you're riding most places in the world, there's trees that fall down. It's nice to be able to ride over those things, right?
Yeah, we got a ton of trees.
I like when they leave the tree there.
Yeah, we had a ton of down trees. Yeah, I got some practice to do for sure. I was going to say, you know, in going back to Rob Drew, and I think what makes Rob so special is that he's able to translate a lot of those skills to other features that you don't think would match up. You know, we just talked about Logovers being the same as lifts, but I would argue that same technique also works for when you're going to double up over a rock. This is something I've seen Rob Drew do several times. You know, it starts with that compression, then he pops up using a small rock as a kicker. You know, that same motion, right? So if you're listening to this conversation, you're like, well, I hate Logovers, or I don't do lifts, or I don't, this isn't about Logovers. Yes. That technique can work in a variety of different ways. So yeah.
Yeah. It's essentially a J-hop, right? You're getting your front wheel up, followed by your back wheel. Like you're getting heavy coming into it, and then light front wheel, light back wheel. And then the challenge, I think, where some of the lifts get more challenging is if it's not just flat up top. Sometimes you do a lift, and then you have to keep. Then you got to keep climbing.
Yes,
you got to keep turning the pedals. Then,
Oh, something else. I still can't believe how easily you do that, man. It's impressive to watch. It really is. You do it so like no problem that it makes me feel worse about it. You know, because I have not been able to do it, and you just you pop right up and you do it, and I'm like, why?
some features on the mountain, like you just get good at, and you're just like Jeff Windsor had a couple that like, I never got them. I could just never could get them. And he could do it every single time. Yeah. And yet on that Bermuda Triangle one, like he's gotten that, but he struggles on it sometimes. And for whatever reason, like, and talk about feeling confident. Like I just know when I'm pedaling into that one, sometimes I have errant thoughts that are like, I don't, but I know that if I get up on that and I pedal, I got it. Yeah. Like I just know I got it.
I know.
And it's so much just comes down to confidence. It's crazy. Yeah, it's weird.
I know. It's crazy.
Like, well, how do we get that everywhere? Right? How do we get that everywhere? That's what we want. That confidence everywhere.
I struggle to see your struggle, because I don't have that mindset, I really don't. Like, I translate that confidence and I put it everywhere in mountain biking, not in life, but in mountain biking. I just translate that, and I ride with that. And for you, it's like feature to feature or trail to trail.
I know. And I'm trying. I don't want to say I'm trying. I'm making the shift. This is what we talked about last week with certainty. Yeah. I'm making the shift to I'm someone who rides smoothly and in the flow, and I got it, and I'm not doubting, and I'm just shifting that in my life, that everything's going to work out, right? If you were going to live like you got $1 million, but like what would you do when you get a bill, but you get $10 million in the bank and you get a bill for $200, right? Yeah, that you didn't expect. No big deal. No big deal. That's you're relaxed. Yeah. No big deal. I got $10 million.
Yeah.
So if we act like that, we act like we have $10 million, then we're in this relaxed state. Our nervous system is in a relaxed state. That's no big deal, right? Instead of like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. And this came out of nowhere and I can't afford it. And where's this money going to come from? No, you're in a relaxed state. I'm going to take care of it. It's going to figure it out because I got $10 million in the bank. So if we're riding like we're already the rider that we want to be, that we are, then it's no big deal when you come up to a feature. You're like, no, I got it. You're in that relaxed state. Your nervous system is in a relaxed state. And what do we talk about? We talk about me being tense and stiff. Relax. It's just riding.
Yeah, man. Yeah. The money one is real. That's again, I don't have any problems mountain biking confidence wise, but in life, I did that. I tried to live like I had $10 million. I spent money like it was going out of style, at Arizona. I was just like,
back.
Yeah, I was just like, whatever, And then I got back from Arizona and, I had a bunch of things that I had to pay for here and things came up. And suddenly I realized, man, you broke as hell. You broke as hell. And I was like, man, well, I don't know about this spending like you have it, because I didn't. And
well, it's the mindset. It's the mindset, not necessarily the spending. And look, you were here, you enjoyed yourself, you had fun. That's what the money's for.
That's right.
What you put out with that intention, I believe is going to come back to you. I believe that what goes around comes around in all sorts of the ways of our lives.
I believe that too. No, I believe that too. Yeah. I'm
okay. All right, good.
I've switched my mindset in my life, and this has worked out really well for me, is I only do things that I enjoy. I follow my joy. That doesn't mean that, there aren't hard things in my life, but I follow joy. What brings me happiness? So when we're in Arizona, right, and, we decide to go to a meal, I'm not like, hey guys, I'm going to fast because I'm broke. No, it's like, okay, I want to enjoy this meal with my friends. Who cares how much it is? That's just one small example, but like, what are those things that I know is going to bring me happiness? I don't make qualms about it. I don't think about like, oh, well, this is going to, blah, blah. No, I feel like do it and it'll take care of itself later on. I don't know how, but
So you were living in certainty, and then you got home and you saw your bank account and you entered into doubt. That's the hard part. That's where the rubber hits the road, though. Yeah, is when we're living with certainty and the world is giving us doubt. We're riding with certainty, but we crash. The world, the trail is giving us doubt. Stay in certainty. That was an anomaly. The bank account is an anomaly. I am wealthy. Stay in certainty. I'm not saying to keep spending in certainty, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
stay in certainty. Stay in certainty and keep that energy. And the same thing on the trail, right? Okay, I dabbed. Okay. I didn't get this feature, or I didn't feel good on that jump, or I cased it, or I over rotate. That's where the rubber hits the road, is when the trail or the planet or reality gives us doubt. Are we going to buy it, or are we going to stay in certainty? And if you stay in certainty, I believe that it's going to happen. And we're going to see that happen. We're seeing that happen with our podcast. It's good. More and more people are listening. We're connecting with more people. We're making more friends. We're getting great comments from our listeners. We're enjoying doing this. You and I record this podcast. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much. Is it work? Yeah, there's a lot of work involved with it, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And ease and grace. That I get to sit down and talk to my best buddy about mountain biking once a week, and then people get to listen in and enjoy it.
Yep.
These are conversations we would be having anyway. We've said this a million times.
Yeah. I know, man. Really good stuff, man. I do firmly believe that. I like that certainty. That is something that I pull from the universe talk that I do appreciate. If you live in that positive state, I do think that positivity breeds positivity. I do believe that negativity breeds negativity. We touched on it last week, but I'm going through the bank account's fine. I have to work, right? I'm broke now, but I'm not upset about it. I don't think about it. I don't dwell on it. I do think that money will come somehow, or I'll just have to make decisions, and I'm going to make that decision based on joy or what I think is the best when that time comes to make that decision. The loneliness is another one that just kind of eats away at me. And that's a tough one. It's a really tough one to kind of I don't know, man. It's deep. It's harder for me to live in that certainty when it comes to the loneliness part of it, and I do think that there's probably a self-worth piece in here, which again, you can relate to mountain biking. It's like when you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, or you make a statement like I was making, I'm not someone that can do step-ups. That's a low self-worth statement. You are already telling yourself you're not good enough to do this before you even start it. And how does that relate to loneliness? I'm kind of going or not going places. And I think there's probably a low self-worth thing here where it's I don't know if I'm worthy to meet somebody else, or I don't know, man. I don't know. It's crazy. It's deep.
I gotta give that some thought. RideandLife1@gmail and YouTube comments. Certainly very, very interesting. If you want to, if you leave this part in, I have to give that some thought. And I do have a couple of thoughts on this, but they're probably more than. Do you want to hear now?
Yeah, I mean, if we can relate it to mountain biking in some way, I think that'll be more helpful. I don't think people really care about my personal issues with loneliness, but how does it relate? How can we relate that to other things in mountain biking? If we can relate it somehow that way, I think that's well worth a conversation.
Well, I think the basic move here is that you're going to be living with certainty that you're surrounded by love, that you're worthy of love, whether it's friends or a relationship, that you're surrounded by love and you feel loved and fulfilled. And I write this in my gratitude journal all the time, riding and laughing with Sage more than ever, because we're a bi-coastal friendship now. So, that's something that we have to work at to be able to ride together. It's not like it used to be where we would just ride every Sunday and maybe another day during the week. So when you talk about worthiness, now you're talking about that love, being worthy of being loved, and bringing in the certainty that I am certain that I'm going to be loved, that I'm going to feel love, that I'm going to feel companionship, that I'm going to feel fulfillment, and I'm worth that. On the trail, in life, you're living in certainty. So then you don't have to worry that you're lonely now, because it's just a matter of time before you have more friends, new friends, or you're living closer to me, or something happens where we're traveling and riding a lot more together. It's going to happen. So you don't need to worry about the bridge that's going to get you from here to there. But I have no doubt that it's happening. And then see how that transmutes, right? Whether it's money in the bank account, whether it's loneliness and love, or a job or getting a feature on the trail or just enjoying riding, coming back from an injury or progressing, right? It's all shifting our perspective to being certain and then trusting. And then we don't have to worry about the how, because if you trust it's going to happen, then you're just, and then the nervous system relaxes.
I will, for the benefit of our listeners, I'll try and relate this back to mountain biking in a way, because I think this is rather relatable. Instead of loneliness, let's talk about a feature. And you approach a feature and you're like, I'm doing all the right things. I'm saying all the right things. I'm thinking all the right things. Why is this not happening? You know, for me, my loneliness.
I like this.
Yeah, for my loneliness, it's like, okay, force yourself to go to places. You know, I go to Phoenixville Bike Park. You know, part of the reason I go to Phoenixville Bike Park is because I want to see people. You know, the loneliness is two pieces, right? It's a loneliness for friendship, but it's also a loneliness for companionship too. You know, it's been 4 years or almost 4 years since my divorce, and I haven't so much held someone's hand. That's a long time to go without feeling that kind of companionship. You know, I have lots of friends, but I'm missing that part of it. So I'm doing all the right things. I'm going out to Phoenixville Bike Park. But that's not a place where you would meet somebody for companionship, but like I'll go to karaoke, right? You know, when we were in Arizona, I forced myself to go to karaoke. I go to pool night now with my oldest son. There's like a bar league here, and I go do those things. So I'm doing all the right things to kind of put myself in the right places to kind of meet people, and it's still not happening. And so how's it, again, in mountain biking, if you are saying all the things, doing all that, and it's still not happening, I still can't jump, I still can't get this log over, I still can't get this, that's a really, really frustrating situation, you know?
Yes. I would say you're a signs guy.
Yeah.
You read the signs, right, on the trail. This is what we talked about earlier in the podcast. You've also been talking on the last couple podcasts about how much variety is the spice of life on the trails and how much you like riding different trails and different jumps and variety. And right, we go to Mount Penn. It's never the same route twice. And I look at your life, and if I'm reading the signs, and I was kind of teasing you about this, that I'm reading the signs that you should not necessarily just be doing the same thing that you've been doing for the past 4 years. And you're a variety guy. Your life doesn't have much variety, bro.
That's a pretty good point. That's a really good one, man. You using my own words against me. I love it. Oh,
for you.
Oh yeah, for me. Yes. That's interesting. That is really, really interesting, Danny. I like that. Yeah.
So, right, like let's take a step back, and the same thing, right? This is a friend giving you tips on the trail. Hey, Dan, get your hips around, loosen up, get your elbows wider, right?
Yeah.
And here we are in life. I'm riding behind you on the trail. I can see this.
Yeah.
Sometimes if we don't take a video of ourselves, we can't see our body position. We don't know that this can get better if we just shift forward a little bit. We get a little bit more aggressive, right? That's what friends are for.
I love it. Yo, that is good stuff.
All right.
I'm going to take some time to think about that, because I like what you're saying. That I said.
Wow. Okay. Well, what was that last part?
That I said. It was like your advice to me was my own advice. You're like,
oh, yes. Yeah. Well, it's just right. All I'm doing is holding up a mirror.
You're rebranding.
I'm holding up a mirror.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just holding up a mirror to what you have said, what you're telling me.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, okay. Ride Laugh on a Gmail and YouTube comments. As far as anything that we're talking about, I love how it all relates back to the trails and riding, mountain bike synchronicities.
Right.
So anything, and the Ride Laugh on a Gmail, anything that you have a question about, like, hey guys, I really thought this conversation was interesting. And what do you think about this situation? How do you approach this, or how would you handle this? Or, or tell us a story if what we're saying resonates and if it's causing a perspective shift. Would love to hear about that. So, just appreciate everybody. Gratitude.
Yes.
And with that,
ooh,
shall we get into our mountain bike gratitudes?
I love it, man. Let's do it. You want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Well, I'll go first, and after that was pretty heavy, and really cool and really insightful. But my gratitude is very, very light, and I may have used this before, but I was riding my indoor trainer, and it is a sufferfest. They're an hour to an hour and a half, and it just go.
Yeah.
And I'm sweating, and I have a ceiling fan, and I have two big fans that I have hooked up to a remote that I turn on very, very quickly. And I can't even imagine doing these workouts without a fan. I guess you could get more heat acclimated. I don't know. But I turn these fans on, and thank God I have so much gratitude for these fans. I'm thinking about getting another one. I'm thinking about getting a third one. Right now, I have two pointed at me. One's like one of those big floor fans.
Yeah.
Thinking about getting another floor one I mean, it just makes such a big difference. And I can finish workouts. I can power through because it cools me off a little bit. And I'm still dripping sweat. But gratitude for my fans. And I'm not talking about my OnlyFans fans. I'm talking about the fans that I actually have
all fans
on the ground.
All fans.
Mechanical fans. My robot fans.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. It's something that you would normally not think about. And I love that you pointed out. My gratitude is also quite simple. And we were just talking about perspectives, right? And changing how we look at things. And when we had this storm and we had this giant tree fall and it took out my Wi-Fi, it just missed our power lines, but took out our Wi-Fi. And I went into a tizzy, like for those of you that don't know, I get a lot of video from YouTube. Dan and I transfer files using Dropbox, uploading this video to YouTube, like all these things, all these stresses, right? And I start getting really negative.
In your job, you work out of your home, you're editing Trail Stage videos, but you're editing the podcast, which is on a time limit, right? We got to get it out for Wednesday. Right.
So I'm getting angry.
So no Wi-Fi means that you're not able to do a lot of this work, right?
I can't do my job, right? And so I'm getting angry, I'm getting upset, and blah, 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 blah. And I go outside, and I'm looking at this tree, and I was like, my gosh, it just missed my car. It just missed the garage. It just missed.
Wow.
Yeah, like this tree couldn't have fallen in a better place. Thank you, Mother Nature. I did a complete flip. I went from super angry to feeling a tremendous amount of gratitude to this tree. I was just like,
that's
wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
Perspective.
Yeah, perspective.
Yeah, flipping the perspective. How did this work out for me?
Right.
In almost every case, could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse, right? So and whatever we're going through, there's something to learn there. There's something there for us. If we have that perspective, what's here for me versus what's happening to me, what's here for me.
Yeah.
I love that, dude. That's a great one.
Yeah. All right. Well, mountain bike tip. This one is quite interesting. I went to the Phoenixville Bike Park with Shelly, and there were some people there, and I was helping an older gentleman through this jump, and he attempted the jump and his bike pulled. He kind of dead sailered a little bit, and his bike pulled to the right, and he landed pretty hard. And I noticed, and this is something that I've been telling a lot of people, and this is my mountain bike tip. If you feel like when you're doing a jump that your bike pulls to one side, it's most likely because you have a dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you're probably going to pull to the right. And if you see that happening, here's how you fix it. Don't jump with your hands. And that sounds so simple. Really focus on pushing your feet. The thing is with the cranks, your feet, you're pushing down through your feet, your cranks don't turn. Like you can turn your hips and do all those things, but the cranks and the bike will not turn. Your bars, when you pull, they do turn. And obviously if you're doing a bar turn or a table or something steezy, yes, you need to work the bars. But if you're just doing a standard jump, you could quite literally hold the bars with just two fingers. Like that's how much effort you should be putting into the bars. It's primarily coming through the feet. You want to be pushing through the feet and exploding up and letting that bike come up through you. So that's the mountain bike tip. If you go off a jump and you feel like you're pulling a little bit to the right or the left, it's because you're using your hands too much. Go push through your feet and see if that doesn't solve it.
I love that. That's great. And talk about finding something to appreciate what is happening for me. So for that gentleman, when he may have landed awkwardly and not felt good and been like, oh, right. So you could be, oh, that I'm not good at this. Or what am I learning here?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, perspective, like there's a coach here who's just giving out free advice because you love helping mountain bikers because you're part of the mountain bike community like that. A, but B, if something doesn't feel good, there's something there to work on. There's something there to correct. There's something there to fix.
Yeah.
That's our first sign. And that goes back to this entire podcast. If something doesn't feel good,
right,
then shift the perspective so that it feels good, whether it's actually going off of a jump or just something that's going on in our lives or our perspective or the trail, whatever it is. If it doesn't feel good, then you're probably not doing it right. And that's a sign.
Yeah.
Read the signs.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Woo. Man, this pod, man.
Awesome stuff.
We went light.
I can't wait to hear it.
Heavy, light.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. It had it all. Yes.
If you're still listening, you are definitely one of us. If you're still listening, you are definitely one of us. You love mountain biking. We appreciate you. Please rate and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Auto download. Tell your friends. Leave a review on Apple. If you're on Apple Podcast platform, leave a review anywhere that you see that you can. Have everyone. Oh, don't forget about the Costa Rica trip. That is, it's going to fill up. So sign up. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have a blast. Ride with Dan and Sage in Costa Rica. And everyone have a great week and a great week of riding. Ride and laugh.
I'll see everyone.